Guys, I'm TJ from Lucky's Bodega. Today I have the privilege of hosting my friend Vlad from Coffee Bike. Let's get right into it.
Hey TJ, thanks so much for coming and hosting this podcast.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure, my friend. Good to see you, bro.
So today, what are we gonna talk about is, I feel like nowadays a lot of people try to sell you something, try to teach you something without actually going through the actual experience of the topics that they're trying to cover. So I want to just talk a little bit about my journey as an entrepreneur from early ages until today, and just hope that it's gonna provide this credibility point where I'm not just trying to sell those coffee bikes online, but I actually went through quite a lot of things, and same as you. So let's see how it goes.
Let's
right?
go. So let's start from the beginning. What were some of the earliest moments that shaped you into the man you are today? Like what made Vlad who is Vlad today?
We're talking from the early childhood. I think there was quite a few cool things that some of them I don't even remember. My parents shared. Like when I was 6 years old, me and my buddy, we took Winnie the Pooh as
Okay.
as a character. We made him a detective, and we wrote a whole bunch of comics series. We were hand drawing the comics, and then we were scanning, copying them, selling them to the classmates. So we came to the point where like everyone were excited for the next episode, next like chapter of the detective Winnie the Pooh, whatever, and that was pretty cool. Like I don't know how much we sold or whatever, but that was my first kind of entrepreneurial experience.
And how did that shape you into what made you today? Because it sounds like you were a visionary. From the early age, you guys found something that everyone liked. You
Yeah.
guys put it to paper. And, it's very seldom you hear someone at that early age being able to actually make a hustle for himself, especially and have demand for it.
There was quite a few other things after that. I wouldn't say that that shaped me somehow. I think that was the very first like seed, which was unconditional because I don't even remember it. Um, we traded like a soccer cards, like the Pokemon cards in the school, sold it, etc. I think one of the biggest one, which taught me economics in general, buy cheaper, sell more expensive, is actually online games. Like back when I was like 13 all the way up to like 16, 17, I was pretty big geek. Like I was sitting like 6, 8 hours per day online games, which was pretty toxic in a way. But a big thing I learned from there is like you can buy something cheaper, you can sell more expensive. So I was buying and selling some online stuff like a swords, like helmets, big gloves.
Sure, big gloves. Shout out Sam and the big gloves, buddy.
uh, and then we were like taking money to the real money because you can use some
Converted.
online platforms and sell digital currency from online games to the real one. So that was a little side hustle, and that actually taught me a lot about like a real world economics. After that, moved to Canada. My first experience, my first job here was actually a fitness personal training.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you come actually a pretty long journey from where you are today. So you've had the discipline of being a personal trainer, which anyone who knows like me,
Yeah.
like I obviously don't go to the gym. You know what I mean? So I definitely probably got to hire you after this. But what other jobs kind of shaped you into where you led today? Like what was the kickstart to get to Coffee Bike?
So fitness was a big one. I actually had a chance and to take part in some physique competitions. Like the whole preparation was crazy. Like I still remember those 6 meals of chicken and cucumbers per day, like 3 hours of cardio, like
Wow.
etc., where you come down to like single digit body fat percentage. But it changes your mentality. It's like it teaches you to love your life more. It teaches you to love food and treat food better. Time management, discipline is one of the biggest one. Like it teaches you to behave properly when no one is watching you. So you're not just a publicly, like everyone nowadays, they love to be publicly so appropriate, so nice, so
Sure.
disciplined. But then when the camera shuts off, they're pure mess. But this whole experience of physique competitions taught me a big valuable lessons which I carried over to my business practices nowadays. So fitness training started with working in a small gym part time, still being a student in the university,
Wow.
and then we just rented a small studio with other private trainers and became a self-employed personal trainers kind of. After that, I reached some certain heights locally, and that made me feel like what's next. Opening a gym was like, $500,000, obviously not something that 19 years old guy can do. Um, so I started to look for ideas which I can scale, small investment. This is how I came up with Coffee Bike, which I shared before. And then during the Coffee Bike journey, there was quite a bit of other enterprises that I was trying. So yeah,
And tell us a little bit about that. What were those enterprises?
well, one of those was actually like something that relates me and you
Yeah,
together.
definitely.
In 2020, I launched a healthy food vending machines. So the idea was like I was biased on my personal diet
Of course.
plans, etc. The healthy food was accessible, but not as much as I would want. So I was like, what if there would be a healthy vending machines where we have a fully prepared cooked meals full of proteins, like nutrition, etc., available by click of the button
And at a good price.
and at a good price, right? So I launched three machines. I put them to what I thought is a genius idea: 24-hour gym. What could be better? Like people can just come any time of the day and just buy stuff there. And to my disappointment, no one wants healthy food in the gym. Like based on my experience,
Definitely.
like I was giving free stuff
Yeah.
for people to try, and everyone was so happy to grab. But then when it came down to the actual sales, there was barely any. So I had to try different locations, moved it around, and based on my experience doing this business, I realized people just don't need it here. Or maybe it was a wrong locations, wrong timing. Also, this COVID stuff and everything, not the best timing. But for me, like if something doesn't grow to the extent where I can justify my time and efforts, I kind of the spark goes down.
I get
So
you.
so this is how we realized that people would actually prefer unhealthy snacks
Unhealthy
from
snacks.
from the vending machines. This is how we met with you, like,
Well,
'cause
it's actually really interesting because, a lot of people might not know how you and me met.
yeah,
And the interesting story and why I'm so proud to come and sit down with you today and call you my friend is that the way we met is like the way a real business used to be back in the day.
yeah,
It was nothing more than a handshake deal. And
yeah,
for the people watching today, like we put off a crazy deal, and the deal was between Sam and you,
yeah,
my partner, and it was nothing more than a handshake deal. There was no contracts, there was no signatories, and it was just two great organizations doing business together.
yeah,
Everyone got paid on time. There
yeah,
was no disagreements. And when Sam had actually came and told me, and he's like, "Hey, I talked to Vlad. Like, this is the deal we came up with." I was like, "Okay, well, where's the contract? Like, where should I sign?" He's like, "No, we just got to pay him on this time." And I'm like, he trusts you, brother? And he's like, "Yeah." And I just can't speak enough to what that says about you, about your business acumen, about how you handle yourself. Nothing but professionalism, nothing but class, nothing but everything you say is what I can expect from you, which is something that I think is very hard sought in this kind of world. So I think anyone looking today, watching this and saying like, "Hey, can I trust Vlad? Like, can I trust Coffee Bike?" I can tell you assuredly, like Vlad is someone I trust without a shadow of a doubt, and that's why I'm sitting here
thank
with
you,
him
brother.
today.
Yeah, that means a lot. Like the handshake part is actually very important, and I think like it's kind of vanishing
It
nowadays
is.
in a way. Like a good old handshake on the top of the signature. This is still me. Maybe this is the way I was raised, parenting,
Yeah.
etc. But this is also like case with you. It was great, right?
It
Right.
was it
Everything
was one
went
of those things,
smooth,
yeah.
but also a lot of people took advantage of me in this sense where I would be just trusting, good conversations, meetings, feeling that there is a bond. But in my early 20s, when I was trying different enterprises, um, you know, one of those I cannot talk much because actually signed NDA, but I had this experience of owning a restaurant, a franchise restaurant, where everything was proposed to me on the paper, perfect, and um, that was actually back in 2022 or 23. So the coffee bike, once we grew locally, I decided to launch a franchise. I decided to franchise it. So we opened the first location in Montreal. The first franchisee actually signed up just 2 months after we launched. I go to Montreal and we successfully launched. The guy loves the bike, etc. And then I'm just walking around Montreal, and I'm still on my diet plans, etc. throughout my whole life. And I feel like for me the cheat meal word is like something special. So I was like, I'm in Montreal. I want a croissant. So I started to walk around and ham and cheese, butter, whatever. And I found this place which offers all kind of like unique
Croissants.
croissants, like truffle crab, lobster with parmesan. So I sit there, I end up having the entire menu, and my brain it starts to look for opportunities. Like I'm looking like, okay, this is how much it would cost to buy this equipment, that, and we don't have anything online. I look, they opened so many locations when everyone was closing during the COVID. So I contact them, shared story. Like just in 2.5, 3 months, I opened the restaurant in Yaletown in Vancouver.
Yes, you did. I remember.
So it was like a whole series of fast actions on my end, very big spark. I was like, I'm a franchisor right now. Why don't I try to be on the other side, being a franchisee? Perhaps I can learn something. And short story, the only thing I learned is don't fucking trust anyone. Sorry for my language, but like, uh,
Well, don't trust the wrong person, I think is what you're trying to say.
exactly, like yeah, and sometimes when you feel there's a right person in front of you, nowadays people are so good with faking stuff that you can end up in a sort of trap situation.
I think one of the most important factors is
Yeah,
when people sit down with someone, if they can feel the genuineness of that individual. And anytime I've sat with
yeah,
you, all you exude is the genuineness of how passionate you are about your coffee machines to the coffee aesthetic. And arguably, it's one of the only ones I've ever seen in my life. And aesthetically, it's beautiful. Like the equipment, the
yeah.
picking. What made you pick the different equipments? Where did you find these different suppliers? What brought you to this conclusion of like, I'm going to use this machine? Like, did you have earlier projects that shaped this?
This is another great handshake story. So back in the time, when I built the first coffee bike, um, and there was this espresso machine that I took from my very first coffee cart, which I talked before about, like something I ordered from Europe. So the brand Frappuccino, it's a UK-based brand, amazing equipment. So I just took the machine from old cart and put it on my coffee bike, and I started to use it. When it came to the point to expand to multiple units, at that time I wasn't sure what kind of machines I want to use. So I decided to get in touch with Frappuccino in UK. Um, and to my surprise, they treated me like a great wholesale client. Um, they were mostly locally in Europe, so they were planning to expand more to North America. And I was one of the first adopters of their machines. So short stories, I ordered more machines and then more. And then their executive visits Vancouver just to meet me. And we shake hands for me to become a Canadian distributor for their brand. And now this brand is also supplied with all of our coffee bikes production. No papers, nothing. It's a big brand. They are doing millions. I don't know exactly, but I think they're top three brands in UK and also taking high part in Europe overall. But I got this opportunity by just being genuine and by just dealing with a great United Kingdom gentleman. Right? He came, we met, we had a coffee together. We walk around Vancouver, we shake hands, and that's it.
The rest is history.
And the rest is history. It's been 8 years now. We are communicating. We are great friends. All the orders coming through, and anytime there is any concern, which there are not so many, but
If there are.
instant response. Instant response. This is how I prefer to do business myself as well. I don't leave people on like 3 to 5 business days, follow ups, etc. Like my 7 mailboxes have zero spam emails, zero unread emails,
And I
zero
don't know
unresponded.
anyone that can say that. Anyone
Yeah.
watching this, if you have that little spam, because I know if you look at mine, it's messed up. You don't even want to know. But that's what I really like about you, Vlad, is that despite things going wrong in the past, you
Yeah.
always have had an optimistic outlook on the future, and you haven't let early dissatisfaction or early burns change the way you operate going forward, which I think led to this opportunity here. And what I'm really curious about is why food? Like it seems like you went from the croissants to
Yeah.
coffee bike.
Yeah.
Why food? Is that
I think pure mathematical approach. Like before starting the coffee bike, I didn't even drink the coffee myself. So the fun part is like I just calculated the margins on the coffee drinks. I was like, okay, we can sell coffee for $5. Cost of goods is $1. So yeah, that's a big margin. That's gonna make me a lot. So this is how I got introduced to the food industry, just through the pure mathematical approach of calculating the margins, the profit margins. And then slowly I kind of get into it, start to drink coffee, became addict. Now it doesn't do any wonders to me. Like I can drink a gallon and I'm still gonna fall asleep in 10 minutes. It's just not probably the best thing, but this is the answer, right?
And so when you left the croissant business,
Yeah,
what brought the kickstart? What brought that motivation? Because I know anyone watching at home,
yeah.
they've had failures before. And I know myself, I've had failures before. And it's so hard to pick yourself up. You know that adage that you got to pick yourself and put it back on the horse. But how did you do it?
I am a little bit of the rebellion spirit since my early school times. When something goes wrong, I like, to say something against it, to do something against it. So actually, after this not so nice experience, I canceled my coffee bike franchise. I shut it down because I realized this whole dark side of franchise world, which is not related to every single franchise, but
Correct.
to many of them,
Correct.
because I've been talking to so many franchisees, not franchisors, but franchisees who were in the similar situations, mostly in the food segment, right? Once you sign the papers, pay the down payment, no one cares if you make profit or not. Pay your royalties, pay your marketing fees, supply chain, everything goes through us, etc. So I was like, I want to shape Coffee Bike in completely opposite direction. Let me offer the concept, offer the knowledge, training, etc., but full optionality, full freedom of choice. So someone who is trusting their time, investment, and effort to my concept, they always have a feeling that there is a choice. They always have a full ownership. So this is what made me pursue this. Partially, what made me pursue is the structure of the coffee bike nowadays, um, and this is how it's going right now. So, like in a way, it's like an toxic ex experience where I got hurt with my experience and I decided I'm gonna prove everyone wrong. I'm gonna come up with something on my own. And so far, so good. So, like it works out.
I think it's so far so great because it sounds like you're a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
So tell us how that led to Dragons Den. Like I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah.
at home that don't know the whole story, very interested to know. That's not an easy thing to do, my friend. There's a lot of businesses applying.
Actually, everything went so fast, right? I've been watching TV shows since early childhood. Always thought maybe is it a cool idea for me to apply to participate, but I never had any package to put together to offer. Like, what would I do? Like local guy selling coffee on the streets? No, that's too small. So now with this whole factory producing coffee bikes, selling worldwide, that was a nice leverage to come and propose. Um, Applied on the website, received an email back, went to auditions in Vancouver, received a call back, came to Toronto, shootings, done. So experience was great. Exposure is nice. I'm still hoping for more fruitful outcomes as those videos and footage is gonna stay there forever. Right now,
Absolutely.
sometimes I scroll the TikTok and I can see videos from 5 or 10 years ago. So that's kind of a long-lasting brand recognition online right now. Also met a lot of great entrepreneurs there, a lot of nice connections in Canada and beyond. So yeah, the experience is great, but this chapter is now done. So we're moving forward.
Moving forward. And Vlad, myself watching from a distance, I'm always shocked at your work ethic. For many people that don't know, you're married, you have kids, and you juggle this business here on top of everything else. How do you manage it, brother?
I'm 31 years old, um, and I have so much energy, even though I might sound like I don't. But I just found a perfect ratio of investing time and resources to myself versus investing the rest to my family and to my businesses. So every day, my must is a morning workout. I wake up 5 a.m. I'm in the gym by 6. if I don't have this workout, I'm gonna be insane the whole day. I need to get rid of this negative energy, extra energy. It's actually sets me up for the entire day. So then the day comes, business, calls, meetings, etc. Family time in between, because luckily my schedule is fairly flexible right now. Um, and then goes evening. Every day, my solution, like, well, I'm not drinking, smoking, etc. My solution to unwind, calm down, is a cold plunge and sauna mix. Almost every single day. I would say 28 days in a month, unless
Wow.
something pops up. Bringing my body to the top heat level, then cooling down in a 0 degree water. This is like my medicine for everything in this life right now, and this is what keeps my engine going non-stop. Up, like, I can work straight 10 hours easily if I have this morning workout, and evening sauna and cold plunge, and a little bit of cuddling with my babies in between. That's my formula of
That's the
this
fuel for the fire.
non-stop engine. Yeah.
Nonstop. And people watching this today, you know, what do you want to tell them? What advice do you want to give to the generation that's watching this and thinking about joining the Coffee Bike team?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm not a salesperson. I am honestly sometimes too honest. If I would be a little bit less honest or covering some aspect, maybe I would sell more, etc. But my goal here is to have a people who genuinely interested and understand what they are getting involved to. So my suggestion is, like, if you really want to pursue entrepreneurship, because again, I'm not against the traditional employment or anything, but entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
That's true.
If you really feel like you want to try, start low. You need to always have a plan B. Like, I was still having my personal training stuff when opening the first coffee bikes, etc. You cannot just dump all your savings to one idea and hope it's gonna burn. This is how people end up on the street with no home, etc. This is like gambling, right?
Correct.
You need to have this risk tolerance. In the beginning, it's gonna be very, very low. So your first ever move into entrepreneurship, it's gonna be the riskiest thing you're gonna do in your life. You're gonna shiver. You're gonna, like, unless you're completely like out of your mind, and you don't have a sense of reality where you just throw things and make stupid decisions. If you really genuinely decide to pursue entrepreneurship, your first ever decision to buy something business related, to invest your time to something business related, is probably the biggest risk. Then goes levels of improvement of risk tolerance, right? When you buy your first $10 business card, or invest $20 to your first business domain, when you're making like hourly wage, etc., that's a still big portion of your net worth. Even the $20 for the demo.
We all started there.
I came up with my like rule of zeros at some point. Like this risk tolerance development, we are kind of adding a zeros to our spending power as well. Like, when we are just starting, it's 1 0, $10, $20 here, there. Then goes our first like real things, right? Once we reach this top, we are thinking twice. Should we invest this $100 to this,
Absolutely.
$200 to the new shelf, 300 to the storage rent, etc. Once you breach this limit, then goes another zero. Now we're talking a little bit of expansion, little bit bigger spaces, bigger purchase orders. Now we have thousands. Thousands is already valuable, right? Not everyone is dealing with thousands. For many people, it's actually income. When you can swipe your card for thousands and feel like nothing, like, no emotions, that's you're already quite there on the small business level. Then we're adding another zero, tens of thousands. This is where we already have multiple locations, you can travel, etc. So I have breached another zero as well, and I'm sure you did as well with your purchasing orders for Lucky Bodegas. Like, when I was swiping my Amex for 100,000. The first time I did it, I wanted to puke, right?
Absolutely.
It's like this, as a small business owner, that's like, yeah, it's maybe more than your net worth,
Absolutely.
even though it's like part of your revenue and it's gonna theoretically pay back.
But it's always in the back of your mind, because
Exactly.
paying that Amex isn't a light thing. For people watching, that's a charge card. That's not a Visa.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you pay that bad boy at the end of the month. I would say the thing I like about entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
or I should say I love about entrepreneurship, is that we can really be ourselves. There's no one above us to say what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
It's we get to live by the beat of our own drum, and like you said, it's not meant for everybody.
In a way.
I
Yeah.
always tell everyone the same thing. People that come to me for franchise, I'm like, listen, man, like, is this really what you want to do? Like, are you willing to be at call all the time, be ready to go? Because that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't always happen,
Yeah.
but there are very seldom times where, you got to wake up 2 a.m, drive down to the store, make sure everything is all good. And, not everyone's willing to do that.
I completely agree, and that's the point about the risk taking as
Yeah.
well, like about getting out of the comfort zone, the cliche.
Well, I think that's what it is. When you're out of your comfort zone is when you grow.
Pretty much. That's where you grow exactly.
And look at all the things you've done to get out of your comfort zone, man. Like I don't know if everyone at home knows, but you want to talk about that stuff in Bali where you went to that retreat? Like, that was crazy, man. Like, not everyone's gonna do something like that, brother. And you did it.
I think that was more of the comfort zone for me over there. So basically, yeah, there was this retreat in Bali in the mountains, top of the mountains. I went there like 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago. I came to the point where I was burned out with everything that you just mentioned, right? I had around 45 staff at that time. There was no middle chain management, and my phone was, ringing all the time. Every second something happens. Then email comes in from the city. Then email comes in from the suppliers. Boom, this, that. And I came to the point where I set everything up on semi-automatic mode. Taught a couple of people to become like a supervisors,
Yep.
etc. Gave up a little bit of the margin by paying more, which is fine.
Sure.
And found this retreat. They targeted me so nice. It's like top of the mountains, Bali, Indonesia, men's only camp.
That is.
They
Give
have
them a shout out. Let them know.
It's
Maybe we
called-
want to sponsor camp in Bali.
Bali Time Chamber.
Bali
The-
Time Chamber.
The
You
best,
heard that, man.
the best place I've been for self-improvement and recharge. So I spent there 1 month. So how it looks, it's sort of little villas on the top of the mountains. They have a jungle-style gym,
Yeah.
everything, all the equipment you need for the perfect workout. They have sauna overlooking the mountains and jungles. So you sit there, wood-burning sauna, big glass window, and you see the entire like jungles with mountains.
Food ready.
They have cold plunge, massage for like recovery, and they have a full staple food restaurant. So you look at the menu, it's your proteins, carbs, veggies,
Carnivore diet.
everything is there. Is like ribeye steaks, tenderloins, sirloins, and you eat unlimited. Like you and the food is so great as well. So it's sort of like you feel luxury, but you also feel grounded. Like I didn't wear any shoes there, only shorts,
Yeah.
no t-shirt whatsoever. You walk in the jungles in your spare time, 5 minutes distance walking. You have your waterfalls.
Yeah.
You go under the like 10-meter, 20-meter waterfall and like
Crazy.
recharge. Still, there is a Wi-Fi. You stay productive. Emails, calls, everything. I was doing it there. Like got quite a few deals sealed,
Absolutely.
etc.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
sure you met people there.
crazy great network. Like with some of them we're still in touch
Nice.
from all over the world. Entrepreneurs, fitness influencers, regular influencers, like sportsmen, like and just a genuine gentleman coming there with some pains, some goals, some visions, and then conversations there. They were amazing. Like it's not like here you would see it and everyone talking about the hike they made on the last weekend or
Real
the
conversations.
the real deep conversations coming from the pain and experiences.
Yeah.
Of course, not only negative, but a
Sure,
lot of positive stuff as
absolutely,
well.
yeah.
Is it something I want to come back often? Probably not, right? When the time is right, I will definitely come back. But it definitely gave me this full recharge cycle. Yeah.
How
And
long were you there?
1 month,
Wow.
and I came out in the best shape of my life. Like I
Yeah.
was ripped.
Well,
Like,
I remember when you came back from all that, like you were like on a different level of grind. You were like, I was seeing you out there doing more stuff, more videos, and you just seemed fresh.
it was great. It was amazing. Yeah. Like, shout out to Bali Time Chamber.
Shout out to Valley Time Chamber. Vlad, what do you look for in candidates that want to join the coffee bike world? What would be the ideal candidate for you?
Someone who is truly passionate. Doesn't have to be coffee, because as I said, I wasn't really coffee professional when I started. Someone who is willing to try something new. Then, if you don't have any entrepreneurship experience, if you don't have any coffee experience, we are happy to share. Like, I'm on the point where I don't like to teach anyone, I just like to share my experience. You listen to myself, to my team, and you feel like this is what makes sense to you, this is what you want to try, and you get inspired. This is the type of people we are looking for.
So Vlad, closing thoughts here. Okay,
Mm.
what can we see from Vlad in the next coming years? Because up until now, following your journey has been nothing short of amazing, and I can only expect greatness.
Well, recently I've been traveling quite a lot, different destinations, Asia, Middle East, more places in North America. With the current coffee bike concept, obviously we want to expand to as many locations, quality locations as possible. Um, I'm low key thinking of trying some different place for my personal residence and my family. Maybe it's gonna be Asia, maybe Middle East. Not forever, but short term, where we can also open our catering presence, etc. Just trying new things. But the cool thing that I'm planning, and that's gonna be a little teaser. Um, and the more I talk about it, the more I understand it's gonna happen. So 2026, from May to August, we are actually planning a reality show cross North American trip. My car, trailer, and the coffee bike, and just one video guy, which is, we will be accepting applications for the video guy. So if you are in your early 20s, if you can give up your location for 4 months, if you have crazy great editing skills, if you can sit next to me in the car while we're driving from New York to Florida, and like printing, editing videos, posting to YouTube, making TikToks, etc. Uh, Please email me, get in touch. You're gonna get paid quite well. Everything, all expenses, gonna be covered. But the idea is we are going from Vancouver all the way to Montreal, crossing the border, New York to Florida, and then we go in zigzag depending on the places we choose,
Okay.
all the way to Nevada. And the final destination, if all the stars align, will be the Burning Man Festival. So we're going with a coffee bike. So it's gonna take 3 to 4 months altogether. It's a reality show where I gonna show that it is possible to survive by selling coffee in a different places, in a different cities. So it's gonna be like a survival reality TV show. Like, hey, today we are in Edmonton, next day we are in Winnipeg, etc., etc. We set up wherever. Like, obviously I will research regulations and permits, but most likely it's going to be a little bit of the ghost mode, because we're never going to come back the next day. The idea is to connect to the community, show the coffee bike, because we don't have like dealerships like Tesla, right? People ask me, oh, where is your dealership? Where can I have a look? No, nah, like, come on, it's crazy money to do that. So we're gonna like expose on the social media, on the TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. Hey, tomorrow we are in Toronto. We're gonna be here and there. Come in if you want to check out the coffee bike. If you
Okay.
think about this business, and this is 3 to 4 months. There's going to be some social aspect to it as well. So obviously, every time in every city, we're going to meet some great people, some interesting stories. So once we sell certain amount of units, we're actually going to use part of the funds, find the nicest soul. We're probably going to make a community vote or something, and choose a person for whom we're going to launch a turnkey coffee bike with our funds, so they can fulfill their entrepreneurship dream. Whether it's a father of six who just doesn't have extra funds and has always been grinding, but always wanted to have this type of business, or someone who went all into their first enterprise and got bankrupt, and now none of the banks gonna offer them loan or something. This is the stories we're gonna look for to make a social responsibility aspect of our journey, and that's also might be the final chapter of my North American story, where I've been in Canada for 15 years and I have experienced, and I'm so grateful for all the experience and motivation I got here. putting apart all the, you know, challenges that been happening here. So this is where like after the Burning Man, September, the beginning of the school year for my daughters, um, maybe this is where we're gonna relocate somewhere else. So this is a little teaser. The more details gonna come out soon. But again, since I already talked about it to the camera in front of not so big audience, but
You're
still,
manifesting it
I
now.
am the man of the board.
That's it.
If I say something, if I visualize it,
That's it.
um, it's gonna happen.
One last question, Vlad, because I
Yeah.
know everyone watching this that wants to apply for your videographer position.
Yeah.
What music are we playing in the car?
But music, I'm everything from classic Mozart and Beethoven all the way to metal step, hard rock,
Okay.
to R&B, dubstep. Like
You guys heard that. He's flexible, man. He likes everything.
Everything. I think there is no genre that I wouldn't listen.
Okay.
Like it really like ups and downs.
So
Like
there's no excuses, everyone.
no
And he takes
excuses.
anyone, any
No
music
excuses.
taste.
no excuses. So yeah, thank you so much, TJ.
Guys, thank you so much for having me today. It was my absolute pleasure to sit down here with Vlad. I'm hoping me and Vlad get to have more conversations together. Vlad, thank you for your time, my friend. It was absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
See
you
you again.
brother. We'll
for
see each
sure.
other again.